Good day, I'm Angela Galleras and I'm going to report the solid waste and hazardous waste and why are there problems. So concept 16 to 1, solid waste represents population and unnecessary waste of resources, and hazardous waste contributes natural capital degradation, health problems, and premature deaths. So meaning, solid waste speaks to contamination and pointless waste of assets, and unsafe waste contributes common capital degradation, well-being issues, and premature deaths. There are two categories of waste, which is the solid waste and hazardous or toxic waste. But before we're going to tackle the major category of waste, what is solid waste? What comes first to your mind when you hear the word solid waste? Solid waste means any garbage or refuse sludge from a wastewater treatment plant, water supplement treatment plant, or air pollution control facility, and other discarded material resulting from industrial, commercial, mining, and agricultural operations, and from community activities. So, solid waste implies any trash or slime from a waste, water treatment plant, water supply treatment arrange or discuss contamination control office, and other disposed of fabric coming about from mechanical, commercial, mining, and agrarian operations, and from community exercises. So there are examples of solid waste: waste tires, scrap metal, garbages, appliances, and vehicles oil, and antifreeze, paint cans, and a lot more. If ang waste has two major categories, there are also two types of solid waste, which is the industrial solid waste and the municipal solid waste, or the MSW. But for now, I'm going to tackle first the industrial solid waste. So, industrial solid waste, it produced by mines, agriculture, and industries that supply people with goods and services. So, meaning it created by mines, farming, and businesses that supply individuals with product and administration. Example for this industrial solid waste is the cafeteria garbage, dirt and gravel, masonry and concrete, scrap metal, trash, oil, solvents, chemicals, weed grass, trees, wood, and scrap lumber. So next, the municipal solid waste, or MSW, it's often called garbage or trash, which consists of the combined solid waste produced by homes and workplaces. So it is frequent. So ang municipal solid waste, it is frequently called waste of junk, which comprises of the combined strong waste created by homes and working environments. Example is the paper and cardboard, food waste, cans, bottles, yard waste, furniture, plastic metals, glass, wood, and e-waste. Next, I'm going to read the case study about the solid waste in the United States. The United States leads the world in total solid waste production and in solid waste per person, with only 4.6% of the world's population. The United States produces 1/3 of the world's solid waste. So I have picture here that what harmful chemicals are in our home. So for cleaning, disinfectants, I know nga naatatanan nga natay nga ni nga disinfectants para sa atong home, and kaning drain, toilet, and window cleaners. Nasa tay nga ni the spot removers. I'm not really sure what is this. And then the septic tank cleaners. For the paint products, the paints, stains, varnishes, and lacquers, and paint thinners, solvents, and strippers. And for the general, dry cell batteries and glues and cements. And for the gardening, pesticides, weed killers, ant and rodent killers, and flea powder. And for the automotive, gasoline used for motor oil, antifreeze, battery acid, brake and transmission fluid. About 98.5% of all solid waste produced in United States in the industrial solid waste, from mining 76%, agriculture 13%, and industry 9.5%. The remaining 1.5% of U.S. solid waste is the municipal solid waste, or the MSW, the largest categories of which are paper and cardboard. 33% of total U.S. solid waste problem is still huge. So each year, the United States generates enough MSW to fill a bumper-to-bumper convoy of garbage trucks encircling the globe almost 8 times. About 67% of it is dumped in landfills or incinerated, but much of it ends up as litter. So I have figure here from figure 14 to page 344. This picture shows the total and per capita product of municipal solid waste in the United States in 1960 to 2007. So this is from data from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. So by the total municipal solid waste, million tons per year. So meaning makita jud ninyo nga every year nakasaka ang ilahang mga production sa ilahang solid waste. And then naay data and graph analysis how much more municipal solid waste was generated in 2007 than in 1960 in millions of tons. So if makita ninyo pag 1960, ang number of tons nila is 50 pa. And then pag abot sa 2007, niabot na og 250. So imagine, niabot pud og 200% nga tons ang ilahang nadugang. So consider some of the solid waste that consumers throw away in the high waste economy of the United States. The enough tires each year to encircle the planet almost 3 times. So imagine no, kung sige tag panglabay og mga waste bitaw nga mga ligid, so pwede na dahil ning masirkulan or mapalibutan niya atong earth. And then an amount of disposable diapers each year that it link end to end would reach the moon and back 7 times. My God. Next is enough carpet each year to cover the U.S. states of Delaware. Next, about 2.5 million non-returnable plastic bottles every hour. About 274 million plastic shopping bags per day. An average of nearly 3,200 every second. Imagine. Grabe na. And then about 200 million metric tons or 27 million tons of edible food per year. Enough food paper each year to build a wall 3.5 meters or 11 feet high across the country from New York City to San Francisco, California. Labihan. And then next is some 186 billion pieces of junk mail, an average of 612 pieces of American each year, about 45% of which are thrown in the trash unopened. See, mga bangja kayo. And around 131,500 personal computers and 425,000 cell phone each day. So next is, how should we deal with solid waste? So ani nga part is makita na to or mahibawaan na to if ang solid waste is naabay solution. So in concept 16.2, a sustainable approach to solid waste is first to reduce it, then to reuse or recycle it, and finally to safely dispose of what is left. So meaning, ang solid waste is kinahanglan na sa atong paggamit og mga kanang mga everyday na to nga kinahanglan nga gamit para na mga paper, cardboards, mga tin cans, bottles, mga kanang mga food waste. So kaya din na to siyang i-reduce and then i-reuse and then or i-recycle natin siya. Then if di na jud siya kaya, kinahanglan na jud nato siyang i-dispose at least malisen ang ato ang kuan sa population. So next, we can burn or bury solid waste or produce less of it. We can deal with solid waste we create in two ways. One is the waste management, in which we attempt to manage waste in ways that reduce their environment harm without seriously trying to reduce the amount of waste together, and then transferring them from one part of the environment to another, usually by burying them or shipping them to another location. So maka-manage data aning paglesen sa solid waste, we must do is the waste management or i-control na to ato ang mga waste nga ato ang gikinahanglan everyday, so that maka-help puta sa ato ang environment. Next, second approach is the waste reduction. I-lesson kung sa inyo intay makagamit mo og mga pila ka cellophane or mga bottles or tin cans everyday, at least kinahanglan nato silang i-reduce ang paglesen nato. So waste reduction, in which we produce much less waste and population and pollution, and the waste we do produce are considered to be potential resources that can be reused, recycled, or composted, and garbage trucks as resource containers that are on their way to recycling or composting facilities. So I have picture here. This is from figure 16.4. This is integrated waste management. Waste are reduced through reuse, recycling, and composting, or managed by burying them in landfills or incinerating them. Most countries rely primarily on burial and incineration. So from raw materials, mahimo siyang processing and manufacturing. Mahimo siyang products. And then kaning processing and manufacturing, mahimo siyang solid and hazardous waste generated during the manufacturing processes. So dagan siya kakuanan. Mahimo siyang hazardous waste and mahimo po siya remaining mixed waste. And kaning next aning products is mahimo siyang waste generated by the households and businesses. So mahimo siyang food or yard waste, and then mahimo siyang maproduce nimo siya og paper, metal, glass, and plastic. So to manufacturers for reused or for recycling kaning mga products. And pwede po siya sa mga compost or fertilizer. If kaning processing and manufacturing, mahimo na siyang hazardous waste management, landfill, or incinerator. And for the next discussion, I'm going to give it to Gerald Apare.
Alright, so thank you very much, Miss Angeli. So in this time, I will going to expound in this class this question related to solid and hazardous waste. So the question is, why is reusing and recycling materials is so important? So as simple as that, because it is environmental friendly. It is economic friendly. So meaning to say, it is not harmful in the environment. So if you have those mindset, no, that I will going to reuse, recycle the materials, the waste materials, of course, you have those skills like budgeting skills, thrifty ka, because you can save money through reusing and recycling waste materials. But the question is, why is reusing and recycling materials is so important? Because to conserve energy, reduces air and water pollution, reduces green gases, and conserve natural resources. This is the shortcut of environmental friendly, no? Yes, let us talk about reduces air and water pollution, because this is the big issue, no, in the whole world sa kanang air and water pollution. Because if we are going to differentiate sa city, especially here in Tagbilaran, grabe ka different kayo ang air and water sa city and sa amo ang sa Pilar, which is bukid na siya. As in, makasmell ka adto sa bukid og cold kaayo nga kanang air, fresh kaayo nga air, water. Pero kung diri ka sa city is grabe na kaayo ka polluted ang air, grabe na ka polluted ang water. Grabe kayo why puno na kayo sa carbon dioxide, grabe kayo, daghan kayo mga machineries nga ni generates, mga motors, mga cars nga nang daghan kaayo, no, apil na anha ang mga pag-smoke sa mga tao. And that is the one of the causes why daghan kaayo og kanang mga tao karon is nangasakit na, no, because imagine ning drink siya sa water nga polluted, nakalanghap siya sa mga hangin nga polluted kaayo. So daghan kaayog mga causes ana nga sakit, and that's why daghan na pud kaayog mga nangasakit or else nangamatay, no, because of our environment karon. So I hope, no, this in this discussion kanang like we can realize nga our environment karon is really need our help, really needs our help, because kanang kita raman jud makasulbad ani, wala na ilain pa, no. Of course na ay enlightened sa Ginoo, but it's our kanang based on ourself kanang efforts, no, nga dapat na atay efforts to save our mother earth, to conserve our mother earth, no. Remember ta sa kanang movie ni Moana, the main character there is adventurous teenager, right, daring mission to save her people. Yes, naa siya mission, na siya gidare nga mission nga kanang like save gyud, dapat ma-save niya iyahang people. And unsa may reason adto para unsa may danger adto para nga ang mga people niya is maybe maday or unsa ba kanang is kanang katong ilahang environment or ang ilahang mga plants is going to die or kanang nanga-block na, as in na-cover na or na dark ng ilahang mga plants. So in sa iyang mission is para mubalik ang beauty sa environment, sa iyahang mother earth. Ang mga plants mutubo na and all nga nindot na kaayo ang kanang mother earth So mo na siya yung goal. Why? Para ma-save ang iyahang mga people. So what's the lesson there is that para ma-save ta, no, para ma-save ang people kay wala man tay muwana nga mo save sa atua, no, only God lang man. So para ma-save ta is kanang ato ang kaugalingon, unsaon na to pag-protect ang environment. So let us protect the environment and then we will be safe. Yes, sa mga save sa mga sakit, sa tanan nga mga causes, climate change especially, no. So inga na siya dapat atuag yung iluwas ang maong environment because grabe na kaayo ka warning, no. Daghan na kayong kuan. So let us talk about reusing and recycling materials. So when we say recycling, it is the process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away as a trash na siya, and then turning them into new products. So usa ka trash o sa ka gilabog nga butang wala na important unta, but you have creativity na kay mind nga kanang dapat ako na siyang himuong nindot nga product, a unique one nga product. So ingana ang pag-recycle sa usa ka butang. So for example, bottle na siya, imo na siyang gihimo into nahimo nimo siyang flower, no. Ang usa ka cellophane, plastic cellophane, himuon nimo siyang flower, no. Nga na ang usa ka kanang isa akong mother before is na siya business. It's a big business na kay producer na siya sa mga dagko nga company, no. Tighimo siya sa mga like kanang mga sagbot, mga plastic na diha nga nagipanglabog is iyang gihimo into flower, kanang mga flower bitaw nga na nga ang sagbot siya. So recycle, no, nga product. So nga na grabe nakatabang to siya sa mga sagbot nga gipanglabog-labog lang diha pero gipunit para mahimo siyang product and mahimong useful instead nga dili hinta siya, instead nga trash na hinta siya. So of course that is recycle, no. And then reuse. When we say reuse, it's really more on items that can be used repeatedly instead of throw away items and buy necessary items second hand or borrow or rent them. So nga na siya, no. So for example na ay car and then wala na ganahi, for example ang usa ka owner, imbes nga iyahan na nang kanang tawag ani dili na nila gamiton, butang lang sa daplin kay tungod kay nagdaota na siya nga na. Pero imuha siyang gi-reuse, gigamitan nimo siya something like innovation, no, nga ang car imuha na siyang gipalamian o nahimo na siya. For example, one of best example for me is kanang naatay GTIC ballpen. And GTIC ballpen is nahurot ng iyang ink, and then sa may imuhang buhaton anha nga mahal man tong sudlanan sa GTIC kung mopalit kag usob og bag-o brand new kintahay nga GTIC, no. So dili dapat nato ilabog, no. So ato adjong hunahunaan na is ato ani siyang palitan og brand new nga ink or ato ang refillan og ink para nga mahimo na siyang para mura na siya og brand new pud nga GTIC. So that is reuse. Imo siyang gigamit, gibalikan nimo siyang paggamit even nga dili imo na siyang ilabog pero imo siyang gigamit nga mahimong functionable gihapon siya nga product. So that is the difference between recycling and reuse waste materials, no. So kanang example of reuse is naapod na, no, wrapping paper, naapod plastic bags, boxes, and lumber. So wrapping paper, for example, ang mga scratch na nga paper, no, imbes nga ilabog na nimo siya, imo siyang gigamit nga pang putos siya og coins, pang putos nimo siya og unsa diha nga mga butang, no, nga para ma-separate or magamit gyud siya, no, ingana. So instead nga imo na siyang ibalik. Plastic bags, no, kanang plastic bags imo na siyang gisudlan og mga trash para ma-separate, ingana siya. And then another is boxes, kanang mga box, no, nga imbes imong ilabog na siya, imo na siyang gigamit para ma-separate ang mga products, ana. So ingana siya. And then importante ang pag-reuse and recycle is to less trash. Yes, that is. The greatest environmental benefit of recycling is conservation of energy and natural resources. So, muna akong giingon ganina. And the prevention of pollution that is generated when a raw materials is used to make an new product. So pag-recycle sa mga product nga wala na nakit ang kuan, pero kanang pag-recycle sa mga product nga kahibaw ka nga naapay potential to make a new one. So inga na siya. So unsa man gyud ang and for so in the for example of recycle pud no is kanang kasagaran mga paper, newspaper, bottles, cans, no, kay mao jud kasagaran. I remember when I was in elementary, kasagaran padalhon gud mig mga kanang bottle, no, kay aron nga kanang kuan para nga himuon siyang panglabat, pintal-pintalan ingana, no, so na recycle na siya. And then other paper for example ang paper gihimo nimo siyang vase, gilukot-lukot diha and then nahimo siyang vase. Cans, no, pwede nimo ang cans nga for example ang tinapa gihimo nimo siyang glass ingana, so ma-recycle lagi po nimo siya, ma-reuse lagi po nimo siya. And then another is kanang kuan, that is the reason, no, nganong naatay kanang separation sa mga garbage. For example, makita nato na sa school, kasagaran, workplace and asa pa na diha nga area, na ay biodegradable, degradable, plastic, metals and all, they hazardous nga na. And but most of us mga student is abusado gyud ang paper gibutang gyud dito sa plastic, ang plastic gibutang sa paper. So mao na nga isa po na sa reason, no, nganong ang environment nato karon is nagkaanam pod siya saka. Unsa nga saka? Ang iyahang kanang epekto bitaw sa ato ang world karon is nagkaanam gyud og taas ang dautan nga kanang kahimtang or situation sa ato ang environment karon. So that is the reason cause na siya sa maong climate change. So nag-struggle ta karon sa climate change, no, and tungod sa pag-abusado ra pud sa mga tao. So mo na giingon nga kuan, mabito tong giingon sa I think last year nga Miss Earth, no, Miss Earth siya ang ning daog sa Philippines is ingon siya nga the main problem of climate change is dili daw ang katong mga basura or and all sa pato diha. The main problem is us, kita daw ang pinakadakong problema sa kanang climate change tungod sa pag-abusado. But in the Philippines, no, based on my study, solid waste is remain a major challenge in the Philippines. No, samot na sa urban area to sa Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines, daghan kaayog tao dito, daghan kaayog mga motor, sakyanan and all, daghan pa dito, especially na ay mga kanang squatter dito nga bisan asa ra abusado sa paglabog sa mga basura. So inga na mao na nga ang Pilipinas is kanang na challenge gyapon sila, no, major pagyapon nga problema is the solid waste, mga basura tanan. Tungod na sa kanang walay proper like rules and regulation about siguro sa mga kuan trash, no, yan na. And then based on the study also, only 9% of consumed plastic are recycled. That is the situation of our country right now. 9%, imagine, mauray ka ng like nag-recycle sa mga solid waste. So unsa may ato ang kahimtang ana? So dapat people are become like educated, no, on how to recycle things nga na. So actually na-implement naman na siya nga mga butang, but kanang siguro need pa og force or dili need pa jud og more na para mas ma-educated pa gyud ang mga tao sa Pilipinas on how to unsa ka importante ang pag-reuse and recycle the waste materials, no. Kay daghan kaayog mga positive kanang effects anhang pag-reuse and recycle sa materials. And why is reusing again and recycling materials is important? Of course, a way to reduce solid waste and pollution and to save money. Makasave jud kag money ana kung mag-recycle ka, because there's no need to buy kanang tawag ani brand new product, dili na ka need nga mo payat pag product kay nakahimo na makagbag-o kanang dili na ka mapayat pag daghan nga mga products ayan na. So they are nara day laing pamaagi nga magamit ra di ang mga panglabog nga materials. Kung sa Pilipinas no kanang mudong sila dito sa foreign country is kanang daghan kayo dito mga dapat i-recycle, daghan kayo mga trash adto nga wala na gitagag importansya sa mga foreigners no. Kung maadto jud ang Filipino sa atos laing country is madato gyud sila nganuman because daghan kaayog mga trash didto nga magamit pa, puslan pa napay dakong potential nga mahimo pa siyang nindot nga produkto. And then kanang ingana siya. In today's modern societies, we have increasingly substituted throwaway items for reusable ones. Yes, katong gipanglabog na mga kuan, ang ato ang society karon is nagamit na pod no some of the countries, but I don't know in the Philippines kung yana ba ang kuan. But kanang kuano ato nang gihimong reusable ang usa ka butang instead nga ilabugay na siya, which has resulted in growing masses of solid waste. So for example no in our market karon or some of the many entrepreneurs nga nag-ingani na sila ilahang business is for example sa kanang coffee, sa una plastic or unsa pa lang gamitong gas sa una, pero entrepreneurs are kanang mindful man na sila, naman na sila hunahuna gyud unsaon nila pagpasaka sa ilahang business. So mao na nga ilahang gihimo ang usa ka glass sa coffee nga mahimo na siyang carton or paper no inga na, and then magamit na ang mga paper sa pagbisan sa pagkanang himo imbis nga food tong na siya himo na siyang pangpunit para sa mga foods and all. So daghan kaayo nga mga entrepreneurs nag-hold og mga business nga gipanggamit na pod gipang-apply na nila ang pag-recycle sa mga produkto para nga mas makales sila sa kapital no sa ilahang negosyo. So inga na nag-recycle sila. That is one of the advantage po no. And another, there are two types of recycling. Sa man tong two types of recycling is the primary or closed loop recycling, and second one is the secondary recycling. So may different nila. When we say primary or closed loop recycling, no, materials are recycled into new products of the same type. No, same type lang, same function lang. So, for example, a bottle no kanang nature spring nga bottle, pag human nimog inom ipayat ka ana, pag human nimog inom nahurot na tahi ang water, imo ra siyang gitangtangan og logo ba na siya, and then imo siyang gigamit nimo siya into kanang gibot nga nimo siya milk, and then milk ra imong gibutang. So ang nakalahi lang nila is water and then milk, but same ang ilahang function nga himnananan, or else kanang ang bottled water imo siyang gisudlag tubig panghugas and all ina. So that is a primary recycling no. And then the secondary recycling is waste materials are converted into different products. So mo na to nga kanang ang usa ka waste nga materials is imo siyang turning into a new one or a new products. Yan na. So that is the how important our kanang kuan in reusing and recycling materials. So I hope you have kanang kuan nakasabot ta sa unsa ka importante ning pag-reuse and pag-recycle sa mga products. Kay kasagaran man gud karon is like kanang sa dili lang sa pag-abusado no. Kanang kuan nga laping magsunog na ta nga, because naanay batas karon, even naanay batas no sa Pilipinas nga bawal na ka magsunog, magkanang sunog sa mga basura, plastic, and sa mga sagbot nga imuhang sinilhig sa imuhang natad, and kanang naanay batas nga bawal ka magsunog no. Anuman naay daghang causes ana. So pwede na siya mo siyang i-organic no, i-organic nimo sa tanom, so mas healthy pang imuhang tanom. So that is how no importante gyud ang pag-recycle nga bisan og kaingon ka nga ilabugay na unta na siya, sagbot na siya, pero naadyoy gamit ang tanan, no? Bisan sagbot na siya, naadyo na siya gamit. So the next question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of burning or burying solid waste? So of course, some advantages are like to reduce trash volume, produces energy, concentrates hazardous substances into ash for burial, sale for energy, reduces cost, and then encourages waste production. So, but there are some also disadvantages. It causes long-term health problems, no? Because did you know that globally, municipal solid waste, or known as MSW, is born in more than 600 large waste-to-energy incinerators. 89 in the United States, which burn municipal solid waste to boil water to make steam for heating water or space or for producing electricity. So why it can produce incinerators produce electricity? Because the heat released from burning converts into water to steam, which is then sent to a turbine generator to produce electricity. So that is the reason, no? So important unta pod ang incinerator, because incinerator will going to like to make ash or flue gas, no, sa mga solid waste, and heat, no, kanang pagsunog sa mga solid waste. And that is one of the kanang function sa incinerator. But then Philippines are giban sa una, that is our kasagaran nga gigamit sa Pilipinas, no, but giban na sa Pilipinas ang incinerator. Why? Because yes, it can cause long-term health problems, and then aside from the major it is a source of cancer causing emissions. Also produces particulate matter, which is identified as the leading cause of premature deaths. So that's why giban ng incinerator sa Pilipinas. In 2007, the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, reported that 54% of the MSW municipal solid waste produced in the United States. So let us base on the United States, ha. So 54% of the municipal solid waste buried in landfills, and 13% was incinerated, so 13% lang. Only 25% was recycled, and 8% was composted, or kanang giabono bitaw ang maong solid waste ingana. So imagine 54% is the highest. So kanang pag buried sa landfills. So unsa may mga why landfills are eco-friendly? Eco-friendly na siya. Why? Because it ma-minimize ang exposure. That is the first one. Reduce the stench, black landfill gas. And then look at here, the diagram, no? It shows the advantages and disadvantages of using incinerators to burn solid waste. So what is incinerators again? Yeah, the waste, no? Incinerator involves converting waste materials into ash, flue gas, and heat. The ash mostly consists of inorganic components of waste and can be in the shape of solid lumps or particulates carried by the flue gas. So we're talking about inorganic, no? Like catalysts, pigments, coatings, surfactants, medicines, fuels, and more. Daghan pa kaayo nga magamit ana. So that is also the kanang purpose sa incinerator, nga maka-create siya something na napoy bago nga mga products. Like for example sa pigments, no? We're talking about kanang mga color nga mga sa tawag na mga colored bitaw nga gipanggamit na to for design ingana. Alright, so there are two types of landfills, no? Open dumps. When we say open dumps, are essentially fields or holes in the ground where garbage is deposited and sometimes burned. So kanang like maghimo ra ta sa sa atong bahay, no, natay gihimong hole or buho. ato na to sunugon atong mga solid waste, mga garbage and all, nga na siya. But in newer landfills, nata in newer landfills called sanitary landfills, solid waste are sprayed out in thin layers, compacted and covered daily with a fresh layer of clay or plastic foam, which helps to keep the material dry and reduces leakage of contaminated water. Oh, ayan na siya. So that is the newer landfills, no? Sanitary landfills. So that are the two types of landfills. And another thing is ang advantages and disadvantages of burning. No, kay kasagaran jud is ano makaangin no nga kung once mag-burn ta og mga garbage, no, is daghan ang causes ana. Daghan ang mga disadvantages kaysa sa advantages. So what are we going to do is that kanang like responsible na lang yun ta, no, on how to like recycle sa mga garbage paglabog, because it can harm, it can harm too many. So mo nang responsible ta sa to ang mga garbage. So thank you very much. I will move the microphone to Mr. Genevic.
So, good day everyone, especially to you ma'am. My name is Mante. So, for this video, I will tackle about how should we deal with hazardous waste. So first, hazardous waste must be deposited in cold secure landfill, which provide at least 3 meters or 10 feet of separation between the bottom of the landfill and the underlying bedrock or ground water table. So a secure hazardous waste have 2 impermeable liners and leachate collection system. If any aspect of your business involves hazardous waste, mishandling its disposal can be serious consequences. And also globally, we have already seen significant damage from illegal or simply improper disposal of waste products. So this is normal in the Philippines na yung mga damage from illegal or improper disposal of waste products. Samot na sa uban mga squatter area. Then, for the Environmental Protection Agency provides us with the following definition of hazardous waste. So first, hazardous waste is a waste with properties that make it dangerous or capable of having a harmful effect on human health or in the environment. So for the hazardous waste is generated from the many resources ranging from industrial manufacturing process, waste to batteries and many forms including liquid, solid, gases, and sludges. So, the first thing to bear in mind when dealing with hazardous waste is simply what we learn from its name. Hazardous waste. So, this is the hazardous to people, equipment, materials, and environment. Treat it such material safety data sheets before hazardous waste is generated in the workplace. So for these documents can be acquired from the procedure of the product and to be contain crucial information about the substances detailed of this information. So for number 6, how can we make the transition to more sustainable low waste society? So there's 5 simple ways to transition to a zero waste society. So first is refuse plastic bags. This step is one that you may already do. Bring reusable shopping bags when you go grocery shopping. And if you don't have any, most grocery stores have them for purchasing pretty affordable plastic bags. Then number 2, refuse plastic straw. This may be one of the easiest switches to make. Just carry a stainless steel straw or this silicone straw by Go CD. And 3 is the refuse plastic utensils. Just make it a zero waste toolkit on a budget that you can keep in your perceived bag or car. This compact kit also allow you to refuse plastic utensils. Then number 4, refuse plastic water bottles. Bring your own reusable water bottles when you live in the house and going to grocery shopping, and this way you won't ever need to buy a single-use plastic water bottles. or in the store or in the restaurant. Then lastly is to refuse plastic storage bag. Ditch the plastic sandwich bags and use reusable food storage instead. It's always best to reuse something you already have on hand rather than buy new one. So for the question number 5 and 6, that would be all, and I hope you will learn. Thank you, ma'am.